Gwinnett Medical Center is now entering Peachtree Corners. Conveniently located in the heart of this thriving community, our new center offers first-rate primary care and specialty services, including cardiology, gastroenterology, neurology, OBGYN, orthopedics, 3D mammography, and X-ray. Learn more about how GMC is making industry-leading healthcare more convenient than ever at gwinnettmedicalcenter.org/PTC.
I happen to believe that leadership happens at every level. If you're a dad, if you're a mom, if you're a janitor, if you're anybody, can be an example to other people. Mm-hmm. And that is what one of the aspects of leadership. Mm-hmm. So everybody is a leader in some way, shape, or form. And some of us are probably born with more of a wish to lead. Mm-hmm. But just look at all the situations where people who've never wanted to have leadership, mm-hmm. and a crisis happens, and they are right up there, and everybody's following them.
You're with The Capitalist Sage, a twice-a-month podcast that seeks out entrepreneurs and experts that speak to the real-world life of doing business for their sage advice. Now, with your hosts, Carl Barham and Rico Figliolini.
Welcome to the Capitalist Sage podcast. We're here to bring you advice and tips from seasoned pros and experts to help you improve your business. I'm Carl Barham with Transworld Business Advisors, and my co-host is Rico Figliolini with Mighty Rockets Digital Marketing and the publisher of the Peachtree Corner magazine. Hey, Rico.
Hey, Carl.
How you doing today?
Good. It's been a great day so far.
Oh, fabulous. I know we've got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about today, but why don't we start with our sponsors for today's podcast?
Our biggest sponsor, a new sponsor actually, is GMC Primary Care and Specialty Centers. They just opened a few weeks ago. They're an offshoot of Gwinnett Medical Center, mm-hmm. and it's a great facility. I toured the facility along with a bunch of other people during the grand opening. Let me tell you, they have imaging center right there. They're able to do all sorts of neat things that you normally would have to be sent out to other facilities for. And it's brand new. And it used to be, for those people that know in Peachtree Corners, it used to be the old Polito's restaurant.
That's right.
You would never know.
Absolutely.
It's totally gutted out, looks beautiful.
Right at the intersection of 141 and Peachtree Corner Circle.
Correct, just south of QT station.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, next door to, or almost next door to, let's say, Planet Smoothie.
That's right.
Where I go visit and get my smoothie.
Oh, fabulous. Well, glad to have them here.
Yeah.
How about some of our other sponsors?
Sure. So Prototype Prime, which is now under Curiosity Lab at Peachtree Corners, is a sponsor. We do a lot of our podcasts there. And they're going to be, Curiosity Lab at Peachtree Corners is a big thing right now because of autonomous vehicles, the 1.7-mile track that we have, and all the stuff that we're doing there. And they're going to be a off-site demo off-site from the Smart City Atlanta Expo that's happening in the city of Atlanta. And this is an offshoot, the first North American expo of this sort that's based out of Barcelona. And it's going to be a neat thing. It's going to be anything you think about with Smart City and bring it to the people.
Internet of Things, how they use data to help enhance quality of life, how cities are becoming smarter. Yes. It's going to be a showcase of all those companies and technology.
Absolutely. And that's happening on September 11th, 12th, and 13th. And you can find out more by going to our website at livinginpeachtreecorners.com, and you'll see a place where you can tag and just go right to that and get information and buy tickets to it if you want. So they have one sponsor, Atlanta Tech Park. We're doing the podcast from there.
That's right.
So this is a great facility, and they let us do this twice a month, and along with other things. Those are the three main, and we are, Peachtree Corners Magazine is a media sponsor for the Smart City Expo.
Fabulous. Well, lots of things going on, but today I want to talk to our guest, Betsy Corvey Pickren, who is the president and leader of Woodfire Leadership, and she specializes in help developing and training leaders, offering executive coaching services, training. But today we want to talk a little bit about how it impacts, investing in leadership could impact small business owners in the business community here in Peachtree Corners and beyond. So first, I want to maybe start this. Betsy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Betsy Corvey Pickren, as you said, and I have had my own business for 20 years, a good long time, and I really have a passion about leadership because leaders have so much impact on people who are around them, and they can make people's lives hell or heaven. And so I'd like to have a little more heaven.
Oh, that's fabulous. So I'm curious, what got you interested in focusing on this and building a business around creating and building leaders?
That's a really good question. I'll talk more about my dad later, but I saw him as a leader, and I kind of always got put into leadership positions, whether I wanted to or not. And then I was lucky enough to begin working with a company that really set the bar on leadership development, and just fell in love. So,
wow,
that's it.
So when you see folks, I know that I talk to a lot of business leaders, and when they're talking about their business, I'm surprised of all the things they invest in. They'll spend in marketing, they'll spend in inventory, they'll spend in technology. But when I ask them how much do they spend in investing in themselves and the leaders in the company, you wouldn't be surprised to hear that they don't spend as much time and or money resources in that. Why do you think that is, and what are some of the things that could help them be better business leaders if they were to make those investments?
Why? What a great question. Why don't they? So Dee Hawk, who was the leader of Visa for a number of years, said that leaders need to spend at least 40% of their time on themselves. And I think maybe not enough leaders have read that or heard that. And sometimes leaders are there because of the power. And that's not what it's about. I mean, I really believe that leaders exist to magnify their own strengths, the strengths of those around them, and the strengths of the enterprise they serve for a common goal. And so there's a why. There's a why behind why you're a leader. And we were talking earlier about Simon Sinek. And he wrote the book, Start With Why. And I just actually want to read a quote from him. He says, "Imagine a world in which the vast majority of us wake up inspired, feel safe at work, and return home fulfilled at the end of the day, feeling as though we are contributing towards something greater than ourselves." How does that sound?
Yeah,
that sounds great to me.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You want to be able to feel like you're contributing to society or to family or a common good.
Yeah, not just a cog in a wheel that nobody pays attention to.
When you think about organizations, businesses in general, how many times have you gone into a place for service? It could be a restaurant, it could be anything. And the folks there don't feel like they're terribly engaged. And they seem like they just got in there, they're forced there, they're not. But then you counter that when you go to a place with a great experience. They're excited to see you, they welcome you, they're asking you, they're engaged. It makes a huge difference in where you choose to spend your money, your time, and invest in business. But how is that culture created? What role does a leader have in creating that culture?
Well, the leader really, being a leader isn't about charisma. Being a leader is about having values that you know about yourself, having a vision, not only what you want to do, but how you want to go about it. What are your values, and what do you want other people to do in terms of those values? I worked for a company, and this was the training and development company that got me super hooked on leadership. And we had some great salespeople, we had some great, production people, and they would get called out as much for their behavior toward other people as anybody else would for, say, not performing up to standard. And so that, you know, the leader just needs to have those things, a vision, a personal leadership philosophy that keeps them focused and moving in the right direction. And it's about, a leader is somebody that somebody chooses to follow. And if people don't choose to follow you, then you can call yourself a leader all day long. You're not one.
It's interesting if you think about it, you peel that back. I know a lot of big companies spend time investing in leadership for their management. When I think of a small company and there's maybe 12 employees, there's a shift manager and there's a couple of other folks in there. They bring in people and they don't have those kind of resources to maybe invest in a broad scale like a big company. What are some specific things can a local business owner do with his crew of 10 people to help develop leadership there in his world?
Well, let me just go back for a minute. I said I wanted to talk about my dad a little bit more. And he owned a tractor dealership. And he was great. I mean, that's where I learned that I thought sales and service was one word. Because it was Corley, sales and service. And he was great at that. My mother was the bookkeeper, or CFO, so to speak. Well, you've got to know what people are good at doing and bring out those strengths. If my father had been the bookkeeper, the business might have lasted for 40 days instead of 40 years. Because one time, I know he traded some tractor parts for a dog for me. Now, where you put that on the spreadsheet, I don't know. So the first thing is to know the talents that you've got. And then also, there are a lot of other small business people out there who can fill in. So you've got contract CFOs, you've got leadership development people like me, coaches like me, you've got just a number of other people who can be kind of extended family that you bring in to make sure that everything you do has got a really good person doing it.
So I wonder to pinpoint on, you've always heard Rico, like, are leaders born or are they made? I'm curious of where you stand on that. And for folks, somebody that thinks, you know what, I'm not a leader, I can't be a leader, or I'm not a leader, what would you say to folks that don't feel they have that talent?
Well, I happen to believe that leadership happens at every level. If you're a dad, if you're a mom, if you're a janitor, if you're anybody, can be an example to other people. And that is one of the aspects of leadership. So everybody is a leader in some way, shape, or form. And some of us are probably born with more of a wish to lead. But just look at all the situations where people who've never wanted to have leadership, and a crisis happens, and they are right up there, and everybody's following them.
It's funny, I'm reading Leadership in the Time of Turbulence. Great book.
Yeah.
4 presidents, starting with Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, and then Johnson. All of them, different points of their lives that were not leaders.
Right.
But there were parts in their lives where they had to become leaders. Obviously, those 4 presidents had challenging from Civil War to World War II.
Exactly.
And the disturbance during the 60s. Right? But I think you're right in a way, though, that everyone has a certain amount of leadership. It just depends where they apply it and what they can apply to. And I think the biggest thing is also persistence.
It is. We can all do, certainly you have to have certain physical attributes. You have to have certain mental attributes. But if we really want to do something, we can. And yet it's so much better if we do what we are kind of wired to do. And that's one of the things that I tell my clients is I look for leaders who aspire to be great leaders as part of their career. That it's not leadership just to move up. Mm-hmm. It's not leadership for power. Mm-hmm. It can be leadership for influence. But it's about, I want to create other leaders. I want to really make a difference.
I always found, people have, as you mentioned, different talents. You can take a sport. Some people are sprinters, and mm-hmm. some people can run, and they can go so fast. Through training, through coaching, through feedback, and through practice, mm-hmm. they can maximize. I mean, you and I will never mm-hmm. be Michael Phelps in the pool. Right. But imagine someone with his talents and dedication applying that over year. Remember, they talked about the 10,000 hours, Malcolm mm-hmm. Gladwell, and practice. Are there things that people can do to maximize their leadership? If you were to break it down to a few simple things that they could focus on to practice leadership, mm-hmm. any advice on where they might start?
Well, it all starts with awareness. There's no way to change anything without awareness. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of ways to get there. You can ask other people for feedback. You can take assessments. I have assessments out the wazoo that I help connect people with. And once there's a behavioral shift model, and once you have the awareness, then it's about deciding, okay, I want to do something about that. I want to get better at these things that I'm really good at, and I want to get either better at the things I'm not so good at or find somebody else to do them. Mm-hmm. And so I began to focus myself. And then it is about repetition, and in coaching we call them structures. Mm-hmm. I was coaching somebody yesterday, and he's going to put something on his calendar mm-hmm. Every time he has a meeting to remind himself how he wants to be seen, mm-hmm. how he wants to be in that meeting. Mm-hmm. And so it really helps to have a coach, I have to say, mm-hmm. because you've got somebody to walk along with you. And I see myself as a coach as like a GPS. Mm-hmm. So, Karl, you might say, I want to go to New York. And I'd say, okay, set me to New York. But on the way, you look over at Charleston and think, well, that's kind of interesting. So we stop. Mm-hmm. But my job is to keep reminding you that you want to go to New York. Mm-hmm. And you can change your destination at any time. But it's knowing where you're going, being aware, making a choice, practicing, getting feedback. It's just like riding a bike, I guess.
Yeah.
It's funny. You can have leadership, but if you don't have goals, then what's the point?
Yes.
Right? You're setting the goals, you're focused on that goal, and you need to get there, and you're helping them keep on that track, not hitting the guardrails, if you will, almost, and not getting off that road, right? You want them on that.
Yeah, unless we stop and smell the roses somewhere along the way.
Right. Yeah. And that's always good anyway, because you want to re-energize, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember years ago, I knew some folks that went to West Point, and West Point and some of the military academy pride themselves in developing leadership. But he described the model of how they develop leaders there. So I don't know if you've heard it before, but freshmen come in and they've got a name for them, plebes or something, but they're fully 100% dependent. Mm-hmm. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to put on their clothes. They don't know how to make their bed. They don't know what to do. And their job there is to learn how to follow and listen to the older students. So that listening and follow, they have to perfect or master following before they can move up the leadership ladder. Mm-hmm. The second, when they become sophomores, they're now independent. So they don't need to be told what to do for everything, but they need to become self-sufficient and kind of learn how to lead themselves and develop themselves and get through. When they get to their junior year, they emphasize leading. The juniors have to teach the freshmen how to do the structure. So now they're getting their first taste of leading others and directing mm-hmm. others and teach. And guess what happens in their senior year? What do you think happens in the senior years? Mm-hmm. Now they're looking broader, vision. Yeah. They're setting the direction, the strategy, mm-hmm. the vision. And I said, they're doing this in high schools and in colleges to help develop in a structured way. So when you said that part about structured and so on, it's interesting how folks like the military academies and military have built this kind of structure. But I see folks can apply that into a small business.
Mm-hmm.
Someone starts in that first 6 months, they're plebes. You teach them how to do everything. You teach them how to run up the register, how to make every dish, how to do all the basic tasks, and help them learn how to learn from others. Maybe the next 6 months or the next year, they're independent and you're getting a lot of value. Now they're trained. That's that part where I say, I don't want to train somebody. Now they're actually productive. But then giving them a path where you invest in them, you get them into training, you get them into other things so they can learn how to lead the next new person. And then when they get far enough, they might be general manager. And for a business owner, this is the hardest part. They could be part of that kitchen cabinet in a circle that helps you figure out how to beat the competition, how to expand, how to make the business even more valuable if they build that structure in. But you don't need 100 people to do that. You can do that with 10 people, the same type of structure.
And what happens often is that leader, when they get to be a senior, and there is something called the 4 stages of contribution, which follows that. But what happens often is in the business world, when a person gets to that 3rd and 4th rung on the ladder, they get uncomfortable because they don't know how to do that. Like they know how to set the table and bust the table. They know how to do that and they're comfortable. So they go back and work in the business, not on the business, and then wonder what happened to their business.
And that's where a coach would probably come in, to be able to analyze what they're doing and really talk about it. Life coach, business coach, same. When I started out, I go there. When I started out, I called myself a life and leadership coach. Yeah. And I think that's probably still what I am, although it sounds better to say I'm an executive leadership coach. It sounds, but life and everything somebody does is about their life. That's right.
You can't say, okay, so now you're going to be a business person and now you're going to be a regular person. I mean, you're all the same person.
Isn't the same philosophy of how you treat your family, your friends, it's supposed to be almost the same way that you treat your business.
I kind of believe in congruity and authenticity. There are people who say, well, I'm not like that at home. And I think, well, okay, so who are you as a human being? So I think certainly our behaviors are somewhat different. I mean, I get that. But our philosophy of life and leadership and who we are, it's a lifelong learning thing. But I don't know how to split.
Yeah, I can't see how you can divorce it from each other. I mean, if you feel someone's authentic and you trust them with what they're doing in the company, you gain that respect. And if that owner, that boss needs to discipline for some reason, that's also a form of respect, right? I don't see how you can divorce the two. I mean, you have to be able to be who you are, and then people will follow that. No one wants to follow a leader where they know, he's not doing the same thing, or well, why should I be doing?
People can detect that immediately. It's not consistent, and they see it as being fake, and then you lose that. So when we talk with business leaders and so on, and say they made the decision they want to become better leaders, what are some of the things they can do to get started on that track?
Hire a coach.
Yep, absolutely.
You can always read a book, but knowledge is only awareness. There are some people who can say, okay, now I'm going to work. They have that much will and, self-control and all that. I'm not one of those people. I mean, I have a coach and have for many years. And I was part of, you may have heard of Vistage. I was part of that for a while, where I'm with other people who are helping keep me on track. So I'm no different from anybody else.
And I know that I've established relationships that go back 30 plus years with people that will call and check in if I'm making important decisions in careers and so on, give feedback and learning and And even there's some that will get together every once in a while in a group and kind of, you know, talk through different leadership things. But then also I think, you know, just going out there is classes you can take and things you can go to have. Tell me a little bit about mastermind groups and what role they can serve business leaders.
Sure. Could I just comment on what you said first? That, yes, training. I mean, I teach at Kennesaw State. I teach coaching skills for leaders, which, by the way, is a critical, a key piece for leaders now. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, that's not a good thing. I know what, because this is how you and I met, really, is if you're going to do some sort of training, make sure that you have some sort of follow-up.
Yeah.
You have groups of people who get together after the training and talk about, you know, what we've done and hold each other accountable. Because otherwise it's just like reading a book. You're going to finish it, you're going to close it, and it's over. So make sure if you're learning that you build an application for that learning in some sort of way.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry, I got you off track. What was your other?
No. That's absolutely key. I think when folks take classes in leadership and they think they can go for 2 days and they walk out and it's not gonna stick. I think just like the athletes do, it's about the practice.
It is.
It's about the application. And I always think of the coach for elite athlete. There's no elite athlete without a coach. Mike Tyson had a coach. Muhammad Ali had a coach, and they were great at what they were doing. But someone's got to provide them feedback. Hey, you know what? You said you wanted to do this, or your time was 6 minutes. And so I'm giving you that feedback because you wanted to get to 5.5 minutes.
Yeah. And
then we drill and we train and we adapt and we learn as part of that collective. But I know people that say, well, I don't have time for that.
Accountability, right?
Yeah.
It's accountability.
Right. So I've known people that they want to exercise, they want to do their 4-mile run, they want to do their thing, but some of them, if they can afford to, briefly, it's not that expensive. You get a personal trainer that'll show up 3 days.
Yeah.
You know they're coming at 8 o'clock.
Right.
You know you have to get up and go do that.
Yeah.
I fully endorse
accountability.
That accountability and what those folks will do for people. But we talking about business owners is a lonely world. They're the top of their business and they're leading their business, and often it can be very lonely. How do they get that level of accountability if they're a leader?
Well, you mentioned earlier masterminds before I got you to backtrack. Group coaching or mastermind groups are fabulous. I mean, Henry Ford was in one, Think and Grow Rich, the author of that.
Napoleon Hill. Right?
Napoleon Hill wrote about those. He interviewed these mega billionaires, and they just did it on their own. You know, they got to know each other. They would meet like on a Saturday, and they would talk about their goals, and they would get advice from each other, and they became their own personal board of directors. And so when you have a mastermind or a group, there are people with similar in some ways, but not competitors. And they are invested in each other's success as much as they are in their own success. And they learn from each other, and they give to each other. It's a give and take. You've got to be able to accept from others, both positive feedback,
opportunities
the other kind, opportunity for development, feedback, and ideas. You don't have to do the ideas,
right?
You do need to listen to them. And I just think that the other thing that does for a small business owner is it makes them take the time. I don't think small business owners have the time not to do something like that. I mean, I look at myself. I mean, I can get very distracted by this, that, and the other. And if I didn't have somebody who say, well, I thought you wanted to focus on this, then there's so much in life to be excited about, and interested in. But if we're going to go someplace, we have to kind of go there. Yeah. And so I love that kind of idea.
That's fabulous to create that environment here where folks can come together and do that. I know next week I'm heading down to Charlotte for a day to meet with would be a mastermind group for us. There are other people that do the same thing that I do from all over the Southeast, and we will meet together and we'll talk about things that are in common, and we'll learn from each other. And we do that about once a quarter to get together to figure out ways to serve our clients better, how to become better, challenge ourselves. But we have people that are walking the walk that we're walking in different ways. So the best people to keep you accountable are folks that really know what you're doing every day and can relate to that.
That's like the coaching circle that I'm part of. I mean, we coach each other so that we always have a coach, and we rotate. And then we bring in other coaches. I've been a coach for almost 20 years, so I could say, I'm really good. Well, yes, and it's easy to slip, and it's easy to get stale. So we get feedback from other coaches on our coaching, and I think that just really helps keep me at the top of my game.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, I tell you, when it comes to leadership, it's always something we can talk about forever, because it's an important topic, and we definitely want to continue this dialogue. But wanted to at least ask, what do you have going on? What do you have going on over the next couple of weeks and months that might be interest to folks?
Okay. Well, in addition to my managing my one-on-one executive coaching business with larger companies, I'm also teaching a course in applied managerial coaching through Kennesaw State University Executive Education. And you can go online there and find out about it. And I believe this one's going to be held in Sandy Springs, so you don't have to go all the way to Kennesaw for that. So that's one thing. we were talking about masterminds, and I'm really excited about two that I'm starting this fall. One is for brand new baby business owners, and to start out right, and to really be able to get the excitement about the business, but also the direction with a group of people. And then also one for people who've been in business a little bit longer and maybe have more employees. And so that'll start in this fall. It's 6 months. At the end of that, we'll decide if we want it to keep going or what we want to do with it. And in addition to that, they all get this wonderful back room kind of information about marketing and all the stuff that you have to do to keep your business moving and growing. And it's fabulous. So that's just an added.
So that's starting up this fall?
It is.
Okay, good.
Did you want to give a link to a website? We'll put this in the notes also in the podcast show notes. But if you want to, I think if you go on LinkedIn and search for Betsy Corvey Pickren,
they'll
find you. Is there another website or somewhere else or a phone number they can reach you at?
My office number is 770-263-7736. And my email is betsy@betsypickren.com. Okay. Keep it as simple as possible.
Perfect. And are there another, that one was for baby entrepreneurs. Do you have another group that's forming as well? Or
one is for the new business owners, and one is for people who have been in business a little bit longer.
Perfect. Yeah.
I do have one other thing. Do we have time?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is just personal. So I dabble in acting a little bit, and I'll be playing Miss Myrtle on the radio show called On the Air by Christchurch Players this Saturday at 7 p.m. That's August 24th. And it's a hoot.
Oh,
So
where is the church located?
It's 400 Holcomb Bridge Road in Norcross.
Okay.
And you may still be able to buy tickets for $10 a piece by calling the office, Beth Holland, at 770-447-1166.
Fabulous.
Or ordering from the website, which is www.ccnorcross.org. And we have such a good time putting this on. And you'll see the Andrews sisters, and you'll see the ladies from the Beauty Barn.
Fabulous. Well, it's something to do for this weekend for folks that want to check out a cool play and support community theater and small theater here locally. So I want to thank you very much for being a guest today and sharing some of your insights about leadership. I know it's something that I emphasize to business owners to not just focus on the marketing and so on, but when I go in there and I get a sense of the culture of there, when they talk about the value of a business, for instance, that matters. People want to buy trained, well-trained leaders. They retain people. They help with retention and so on. So that's really important for folks to focus on. I want to thank Atlanta Tech Park for hosting a Capitalist Sage podcast. And it's a great place to come and check out here in Peachtree Corners, Atlanta Tech Park. If you're starting a business, this environment allows you to access other people. So if you want to get feedback, it brings together a lot of different business leaders. And so just in the hallways, you'll bump into other people, and that's fabulous. So Rico, what about you? Any other events coming up?
Well, I'm going to a fundraiser tonight for the Peachtree Corners Business Association.
That's right.
We're doing the Castaway. Raising money for 3 different...
at Prototype Prime, right just down the road from here.
Right, so that's
tonight.
5:30
tonight. Yep.
I've been doing the silent auction. People keep trying to beat me out. I've been on top of these 5 products.
What are they? Maybe I'll go.
And food. Almost all restaurants.
Restaurants and food.
But I've been doing a bit of that right now. But that's just trying to help out a good cause, I think. Because they're raising money for Paul Duke and for Norcross Cooperative Ministries and the Concussion Institute.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's kind of a new place. If you want to reach out to me for what I do sometimes, besides being creative services for a group of newspapers and publisher of Peachtree Corners magazine, I do social media marketing, content, videography. Just finished some product videos recently, working on website graphics now for a financial firm. So you can visit mightyrockets.com or find Rico Figliolini, if you can spell that out, on LinkedIn and just let me know that you've heard this, and I'll accept the invitation for connection, because otherwise normally I don't do that.
Yeah, fabulous. And I'm Carl Barham with Transworld Business Advisors. We help consult with business owners, and we're just trying to help them, maximize the value of their business, become better business leaders out there. And when they're ready to do something else, we can help them with that too. So I can be reached at kbarham@tworld.com, or you can go to www.tworld.com/Atlanta Peachtree. If you want to become a business owner or a business leader, lots of opportunities available to you there. Give us a call, and we'll be glad to help you out with that. But thank you very much, Betsy, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was a very stimulating conversation.
Fabulous. We got more coming up in the weeks to come. So stay tuned to the Capitalist Sage.
And find more stuff on livinginpeachtreecorners.com.
Absolutely. And we'd like to thank our director, Kinsey, for doing
Figliolini.
For doing a fabulous job and helping us with the podcast each week. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
This has been the Capitalist Sage with Karl Barham and Rico Figliolini, the twice-a-month podcast with entrepreneurs and business experts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Want more? Visit our website at capitalistsagepodcast.com.